In the previous video, we went through the duo of Mythasia and Bran for the most tanky, survivable duo in the game, potentially the best duo in the game. Today, we're going to be explaining the rival duo, the duo that might be the actual best duo in the game, and this time it's because of their DPS combination. So if you were happy to see a tanky combo, now we're going to be talking about a DPS combo, and this does include Ganglio. Now, lots of people know about Ganglio. Ganglio is amazing because if we look at the abilities, the passive here gives you 50% more damage from poison. When he's ascended, it's 100% more damage from poison, okay? His basic attack actually applies a poison. That's a 100% chance. His AoE applies poisons to everyone, but if they already have a poison, then applies no positive effects, which is a really big deal we'll talk about here in a moment. The second move actually removes all positive effects and then heals based upon the number of poisons on the target. So if you're gone a while in the dungeon and you're dying, this ability will basically give you some health back. Though, to be honest, the majority of the time, you actually don't end up using his A2 or his A3, and you disable all of them and only use his basic ability, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. If you look at the abilities here, I don't really have them leveled because you don't have to level them for the reasons I stated. The basic ability doesn't do anything except more damage. This one gives you cooldowns, and if we're not going to use it, doesn't really matter anyway. So Ganglio, the Ascension will help. You don't have to have it for a lot of these combinations to work, but he is one of the two heroes. Now, the other hero is a more free-to-play, viable, friendly hero, Santis. This hero, you do want the Ascension on. It is going to require the 5th Ascension for her to have it. However, like I say, you can actually get this hero 100% for free through the altar. So if you go to the altar, you look at hero synthesis, you can see Santis here is going to be able to be farmed essentially through these rare heroes. You can just take the rares, ascend them up, crunch them into a Santis, and you can do this as many times as you want. You don't do it once and then lose the ability of synthesis. You can synth all these heroes as many times as you would like. So for that reason, Santis is 100% free to play viable, as the normal summons, if you go here and do your normal summons, have a chance actually of dropping the elites as well. So for that reason, you can get her over time. Ganglio, the best way to get him is I would go through and clear your Doom Tower every time, sit on your limited summons and save them until you have a good amount of them, wait for him to rotate around within the limited summons, and then snipe him out of there is going to be your best free-to-play viable option, okay? Unless what they do is add him in the Magic Pass and you want to spend 10 bucks or something like they put Brandon before, if they put Ganglio in next time, that would be a wonderful addition in the Battle Pass. Now let's start talking about the actual heroes here. We talked about Ganglio's abilities. Let's go down and talk about Santis's abilities now. Now, if you look at her, the passive is going to apply an additional poison when you apply a poison, essentially, but this will not trigger on Cursed, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Now, the basic attack is the majority of what we're going to use here. It's a poison for 2 turns, just like Ganglio. If you look here at the A2, it duplicates basically the poisons onto another person. Now, normally we're targeting the boss, so we don't actually need this or even want this ability to happen. The ultimate ability seems quite good. 120% damage to all enemies and applies poisons for 2 turns, prolongs the duration of all poisons effect by 1 turn. This can be good when paired with Gajar and their ultimates, like you have a bunch of poisons go up, you extend them, Gajar pops them all. That can be something that works. However, for what we're going to be talking about today, the majority of what we're going to be using is a curse set, and we're not actually going to be using these abilities at all. We're literally only going to be using the basic abilities of Ganglio and of Santis, so that makes it a little bit easier for us. So now let's talk about the gear before we talk about the dungeons. As you can see, I got some cursed gear on her, and the reason I just have the 4 pieces here is I'm just going to talk about what really is the stats you're looking for, and the other 2 pieces are what they are. Now, if you look here, this is a good example of what you don't want on something like Santis or Ganglio. You're not looking for attack, you're not looking for crit rate. What you're looking for is health, defense, focus, but not necessarily in that order. You have to have a certain amount of focus. Then once you hit that cap, about 80, 100% or so, where you can really start landing a good amount of debuffs, then you can start really worrying about the other tanky stats. Look at this one here, flat attack road, health road, crit rate road, another flat health. You can tell this is another not fantastic piece. But when we look at pieces like this one, this ring here, we have focus percentage, and then it also has defense resistance, but then it's a defense primary. So you can see focus plus tanky stats. I'm happy with that one. And then if you look at the necklace here, defense, health, focus, resistance, some more tanky stats, some okay rows. So you can see I'm looking to just be as tanky as possible. If we move over to Ganglio, it's essentially the exact same concept. We're looking for the ability for him to be tanky with focus. You can see focus rows. I actually have a focus primary here, which is something you can do if you can't get enough focus to go. And then you have defense percentage here. And then on this, I actually have speed boots because I need him to go fast enough to go before my Gemini dragon. Okay, so basically what you're looking for is tanky stats with focus on the curse set. If you want to know why on the curse set, it's because we're going to be using our basic ability to do a poison, and then the curse is going to do a basic ability again, and you're going to do another poison, okay? This also pairs extremely well with another epic, who I'm just going to talk about for a moment, but we're not going to go into. Kobe, because if you look at the way the demonic flora passive works, inflicts a random stat down to the target of any ally's negative effect, can only be triggered 2 times per round. Essentially, when your poisoners go, you put like attack down, defense down, crit down, speed down, whatever, and that can help you clear through some dungeons as well. And with him, normally, I'm not too worried about curse at all. I'm just doing the tanky stats with focus. So what I'm going to do is finish the build of these heroes and put them in some dungeons to watch. So this is basically the duo. Now, this is Queen 12, so the other two are going to vary depending upon what dungeon you're doing. For Queen 12, we want a green DPSer to get us through the waves before anything happens. In this instance, we're going to use Zatlux, another free-to-play friendly hero. At this point, the fourth one, you could pick in a variety of heroes. You could throw in William for the counterattacks for the more poison. You could throw in Evelyn first on if you're lucky enough to have her. She'll give you the bonus turns. You can throw in Gajar, who is an epic that you could throw in, and that will work as well. If you turn off the poison or the poison ultimate and you just have a basic attack, you can even throw in the common, the Ice Wolf, that gives counterattack as well. So there is a variety of ways to actually do this that are either free to play viable or well viable, depending upon which you are. I am a well, and I have not built the common of Ice Wolf on this account because I don't want to waste resources. So I'm going to use my Evelyn first on, but I mean, I've used to do this with Gajar, and Akobe's actually my best version of this. I just don't want to gear him again for this instance because he has no gear on. So essentially how this team works is it's pretty simple. Zatlux is in there just to clear the wave. So he's going to go through and one-shot whatever the wave is up here, you can see, and that's going to allow us to get to the boss without any abilities used. Now, you can see Eve and Zatlux have their ultimate on. However, Santis and Ganglio do not have their ultimates on, and that is by design. I don't want to waste turns of applying poisons. All we're trying to do is apply poisons and have the cursed effect apply. Now, I'm also going to make sure that the boss is focused there, even though they tend to hit the boss anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that they focus the boss. Now, you can see we're using our basic attacks, and we did not get any of the cursed set procs in the beginning. So we got 1 poison each, for instance, okay? I should mention there is one other fourth viable hero that is an elite. It's Valak. You could put Valak the elite in there, and that is going to give you more additional poisons, which will pair well with Ganglio as well. So there is actually a pretty good amount of free-to-play viable heroes you can put in, for instance. Now, if you look at the joint attacks here, that's going to be the part where you're going to want to make sure you have tanky stats, because these guys are going to go in and have the opportunity actually to kill your people. And if you aren't tanky enough to survive this part, you're just going to straight up die. Now, if you do not have the ultimate on, she is going to be able to heal herself, okay, because you're not putting those ability blocks on that Ganglio has. This is sort of a gear-dependent thing, because I can out DPS the heal, because I know if I use my Ganglio with the stats that I have on them and the Santis with the stats on them, even if we don't get good cursed RNG, which we didn't in that run, I'm going to apply enough poisons. If this doesn't happen for you and she's out healing or something, you may need to turn Ganglio's ultimate ability on in order to get it to work. All right, so here is Ash 12 now. I figured I'd show you another dungeon. It is Ganglio Santis. Once again, I'm using Brand, the Magic Pass hero, because he can clear the bombs as well as just have some buffs for Nathalia. And Nathalia's there to clear the waves, etc. And just like that, he's dying. So, same gear. Ganglio, Santis, same gear. Didn't change anything. Took Zatlux's gear and put it on Nathalia. And then Brand, I just took my tanky gear off Eve and threw it on him. There you go. Ash 12, same deal. The reason is the poisons once again. Now, here's the problem. I do have the turn order wrong. So what you're seeing here is you're going to see Santis go with the Rage Aura, defense down from Ganglio and all that, and that's not correct. Nathalia should actually be first. That way she can get the buffs and destroy through the entirety of these waves first. So that order is a little messed up, but it doesn't ruin the run for me, and I didn't want to have to redo all the gear to get it quite right. So I figured I'd just show you that you don't have to have 100% perfect to get it to work. Now, this team isn't the only team that'll work. You don't have to have Brand. You can have the Ice Wolf, okay? You can put in the Ice Wolf. If you do not have somebody to clear the bomb, like Brand, Blackhorn, or something that you're going to put in instead of Brand here, then the problem is going to be that you're on a DPS race. So in this one, I'm not going to clear the bomb. So I am, in fact, DPS racing. What does this mean? This means that we have to get enough poisons on him that he dies in the 3 turns before that bomb goes off. And knowing the bomb goes off at the end of our turn, it really is more like 2 turns. So for that reason, you have to land enough poisons, and for that reason, you have to have essentially enough focus. So this run won't work without a good amount of focus, especially you have to have Ganglio tanky because he's the wrong affinity. So you can see he's dying way quicker than everyone. But the combination of this plus Nathalia, which everyone should have, is free to play as well because you do get her for free. It works in this dungeon as well. So there's 2 dungeons with that combination. Okay, Gemini 12 is basically the exact same thing, except instead of Nathalia, we have a Kobe. And the Kobe's in here because he's going to put my attack down, defense down, all the random stats down, okay? And when I'm building him, dude, you want the same thing. Look at this. I'm looking for health. There's health. I'm looking for health or defense, okay? There's health or defense, but I need the speed boots on him. He actually has to go first, so we're going to put those ones on. Once again, same thing. I'm just trying to survive. I'm looking for tanky stats with focus. There's tanky stats with focus. Looking for tanky stats with focus. What can I get? Can I get anything within the revival? Because revival will give me a little bit of defense. Hopefully help me survive longer. We'll just go with the defense necklace. Again, just looking for stats to survive. Looking tanky stats. There's some tanky stats. Looking tanky stats one more time. What do we have here? These are all DPS stats. Nothing that I like there. There's a tanky stat right there from Santis. You know what? That should do it. And unless, you know what? That one gives even better stats, I think, than the other one. So there we go. Just like that. Rip off all these items from those people. Give him 89% focus and some tanky stats. Now, this is the team. I think a Kobe isn't strong enough. I don't think I have the gear quite right, to be honest. And Gemini 12 is kind of the push for me. Like I got this on 100% auto when I have all the gear correct, and then I've been messing around with the gear a lot, so trying to get it, oh, and I have to turn off the ultimates for these, so trying to get it quite right, I'm not sure, but here we go. Okay, I'll show it to you guys, and you can see this is at least 3 dungeons with the same bonus combination, so it really is quite a disgusting combination, and the fact that Santis as well is basically 100% free-to-play hero. Brand is $10 out of the Magic Pass. And then Nathalia for Ash was free to play. I mean, literally everyone got her. So the only person you can really say that's not very viable, I mean, Zadlux is free to play too, and I use that in Queen. I used Eve first on in Queen, and that's out of pure laziness. I could have just put a Kobe in or something. So, and I could have even done the common, the Ice Wolf, and that's just my thing for pure laziness. There you go, Gemini 12, no problem, man. Just walk through. So this combination is disgusting. If this helped you at all, or you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, as every time I see the subs go up on this channel, it is incentivizing me to go into more and more quality, more and more detail, and walk through with more and more proof of these type of teams. Love y'all. Thanks so much. See you on the next video.